So my name is Rebecca Cronin. I've been working in the process improvement and customer service industry for around 15 years. I've covered various roles in hospitality, telecommunications, a long time in distribution, and then more recently manufacturing. So my parents always ran pubs throughout my childhood and teenage years. So customer service was probably in my blood, I guess you could say. And I pulled my first pint when I was about 6 years old. So it was back in the day when local pubs were pubs. So a little kid serving you behind the bar wasn't actually that unusual in my pub anyway. So yeah, I often would spend a Sunday afternoon when all the locals were in, helping my parents and just pulling pints. I was working in an operational role in distribution for packets and parcels and mail, and I was lucky enough to have a very supportive director who probably saw the passion that I had for this stuff and allowed me to work with the different operations teams within our different distribution centres. And it was something that I'd always done, but it never really had a label on it, or it didn't really have the structure that the Lean Six Sigma toolbox has. So my impressions of it were, I absolutely love this. This is my thing. This makes sense to me, and it's something that I can talk to with other people. There was a structure, there was an outcome, and for anybody who says that they don't want to improve what they're doing, I just find that very strange. So yeah, it was a revelation, but it was also, like I say, something that I'd always had in me, that it had always been there. So it was important to keep it simple, and also not as structured. So the tools, and in an ideal world, you would follow a textbook, but practically you have to, you realise that isn't the case. So it was listening to people a lot of the time, trying to understand what was their problem, and also trying to listen to their ideas and being able to kind of harness that into the sessions, into the meetings, into the training that I carried out. We did have a structure in place. I needed to be able to get buy-in from the management. So, I did have to approach them first and try to understand where their head was at and what their issues were on site, talking through how we could approach that together. It was very much, not going to be me that comes along and does this for you. It has to be a culture thing, and it has to be a culture thing on site. And that was kind of my aim, my success, really. And it sounds a bit crazy, but my success was to not be needed anymore. That was my end goal, that I wanted to embed this culture into our workplace so that it was just the norm. And that was always what I was aiming for. And my success stories, there's lots of examples where we made changes and, we improved figures, we improved outputs, we reduced complaints. But the ultimate success I found was actually people talking this language and people practicing this behaviour unprompted. And that was really, well, that is it, isn't it? That is where you need to be as a business. Oh gosh. So without kind of sounding too cheesy, it was really an eye-opener working with PMI because this stuff really made sense to me. It was also extremely helpful having such a supportive management team. I think you have to really find your people. It's difficult to be able to kind of practice this stuff when the culture of the business doesn't really kind of support it, and they're set in their ways. So being able to have a supportive management team and work with PMI was very inspirational, and it just gave a meaning to all this stuff that I knew I wanted to do. It also opened the door to the community, so the process improvement community. So it's not kind of necessarily that there's ever been one individual that's inspired me. It might be many people that I've taken nuggets of kind of knowledge from. It's a very kind of open community, which is what I've found. So, again, working with PMI, working with other people in the community, it's allowed me to go in and see other people's businesses, as well as invite other people into my business and share things, where I think my experience before going down this avenue was very much like, no, this is our business, and this is a secret, it's like the secret recipe, we don't want anyone to find out. Where essentially everybody has the same issues and the same problems, and it's kind of, it's good to share this stuff. So there's never really been one single person. It's been knowledge from lots of different people. Well, just why wouldn't you practice business improvement? We're in such a competitive, world now. Everyone expects something yesterday, and if you don't improve, if you don't change quickly, you're not going to survive. So, why would you want to stay the same? It's it just does not make sense to me to not practice business improvement, I guess. If you're experiencing customer feedback and you're experiencing customer complaints, no matter how good you are, you will always have a customer complaint. You've got to act on that. So I will speak to the management and try to understand their strategy. And I will often ask the same question, but a little bit differently over time, to find out if that's the truth or not. I'll always look at their complaints as well. That's probably usually the first place where I would start. So have a look at what the issues are, and then also go and speak to the other staff. So, more recently, in one of my roles, I took over quite a large department, and the first thing that I did was made sure that I spoke to everybody in that department within my first 2 weeks of being there, to really understand the culture of what's been going on. And some of them were so surprised that I'd spoken to them, because they'd not had that with previous managers, and I just found that so weird. These are your people. These are who you're going to get your results from, and you need to be making sure that people feel valued. So it's really important to understand the business strategy, the business issues, and the staff, where they're coming from. Have an open mind. I think, before I went through my formal training, it's very, very easy to fall into the trap of fixing fixing things and fixing them without actually looking at everything. So have an open mind, getting more people involved, and listening to people as well. You know, it can be quite disheartening when you go and fix a problem and you realise that it doesn't work. So you know, listening to other people and having a good look at what these issues are, so that you've got further options to fall back on, I guess, is a good piece of advice. Also patience as well. You know, when I've spoken to people about this stuff, you can get a lot of eye rolls. If people have had previous bad experience with Lean Six Sigma, you know, you may need to change your language by not calling it Lean Six Sigma, and you know, use simple language, and yeah, certainly be patient, because not everybody's going to enjoy this. Not everybody's going to want to come along with you to do this kind of work, and that's fine as well. You know, you need those people. Because they'll have some other skills that is important for the business. So yeah, patience and an open mind is the two things I would say.